Hello everybody, happy Wednesday. Welcome to review lesson 3. Make sure you are testing yourself through this. As I read the question, you circle the answer choice and see if you got it right or if you got it incorrect. Please make a mark so you can review that subject and circle the right answer. So without further ado, let's go. Goal 3 review. Number 1, in the 1780s, all of the following contributed to the dissatisfaction with the Articles of Confederation, except A. High taxes levied by the national government. B. A farmers' revolt in Massachusetts against the collection of state taxes. C. States refusing to honor the Treaty of Paris. D. Worthless paper money printed by many states. E. States restricting trade with each other. So what didn't lead to the satisfaction with the Articles of Confederation? The answer is A, because remember, the government couldn't tax people under the Articles of Confederation. So this led to massive problems and flaws with these governments. So which of the following statements accurately describes an argument of the Anti-Federalist? A. The Constitution failed to provide for a Supreme Court. B. The Constitution lacked a Bill of Rights. C. States' rights were strong enough to limit the central government. D. The president's powers were too limited. Or E. The small states had to be protected from the large ones. The answer is B, because the Anti-Federalist was making this big deal because they felt like the government was overreaching and not protecting citizens' rights. So they protested the inclusion of a Bill of Rights before they signed the Constitution. So here's the statement. The U.S. Constitution is a bundle of compromises. Here's the question. Which of the following provisions of the Constitution does not reflect the support for this statement? Representation in the U.S. House of Senate, representation in the U.S. Senate, counting a slave as 3/5 of a person, Congress's power to tax imports but not exports, or a national court system separate from legislature. The answer is E. A, B, C, and T was actual compromises into the Constitution, but there's nowhere in the Constitution that they had to compromise a national court system. In his interpretation of the Constitutional Convention, the historian Charles Beard focused on the importance of A. Sectional differences, B. Conflict over slavery, C. Economic interest of a wealthy elite, or E. D. Political fractions from colonial times, or E. The genius and wisdom of the farmers. The answer is C, the economic interest of the wealthy elite. He didn't focus his importance on that. Okay, number 5. In 1788, the Federalists promised to add a Bill of Rights to the Constitution in order to A. Protect their own liberties from possible abuse by the U.S. government. B. Persuade state conventions to ratify the Constitution. C. Ensure that government would be democratic. D. Establish a popular platform for the election of George Washington. Or E. Expand the rights of women. The answer is B. They had to persuade each state to ratify the Constitution. So they added a Bill of Rights to please the anti-federalists. Number 6. Alexander Hamilton's financial program consisted all of the following except A. The creation of a U.S. bank. B. The collection of a federal excise tax on whiskey. C. Payment of state debts by the federal government. D. Payment of subsidies to farmers. Or E. Tariffs to protect infant U.S. industries. The answer is D. Payment of subsidies to farmers. He did not include any provision like that. Which of the following was the underlying cause of the other 4? The Jay Treaty, the French Revolution, the XYZ affair, Citizen G controversy, or Washington's proclamation of neutrality. It's B, the French Revolution. Number 8, the Virginia and Kentucky resolutions presented the argument that A, states had the power to organize political parties. B, Congress had no power to legislate on questions of immigration. C, states could nullify acts of Congress. D, Congress should consult the states before declaring war. Or E, the Constitution should be amended. The answer is C, states could nullify acts of. Number 9, the decline in support for the Federalist Party can be traced most directly to its handling of the issue of A, the Bill of Rights, B, the XYZ affair, C, Citizen G, and D, the Alien and Sedition Acts, or Marbury versus Madison. The correct answer is the Alien and Sedition Acts. Remember, this got a whole bunch of attention from early America days and a whole bunch of opposition. Number 10. Which of the following was not a significant consequence of the election of 1800? A. Thomas Jefferson became president. B. The Democratic Republicans took control of Congress. C. The 12th Amendment was added to the Constitution. D. The U.S. government gave less attention to foreign affairs. Or E. The party in power left office peacefully. So the U.S. government not giving action to foreign affairs was not a consequence of this election. The U.S. government was still actively involved in foreign affairs. Okay, which of the following leaders is incorrectly paired with a notable event or deed? A. Thomas Jefferson and the Louisiana Purchase. B. Andrew Jackson and the Battle of New Orleans. C. Tecumseh and the Battle of Tippecanoe. D. Henry Clay and Declaration of War in 1812. Or E. Alexander Hamilton Embargo Act of 1807. The correct answer is E. Alexander Hamilton Embargo Act of 1807. Thomas Jefferson was the leader paired with that event. Number 12. Thomas Jefferson's Revolution of 1800 changed the Federalist policies of Washington and Adams in all of the following areas except A. Size of the military, B. Number of federal employees, C. Amount of national debt, D. Foreign affairs, or E. The Alien and Sedition Acts. The correct answer is foreign affairs. Thomas Jefferson was really involved in foreign affairs, and that differed from Washington's and Adams' approaches. Number 13. Which of the following accurately characterizes the foreign policy goals of Jefferson and Madison before 1812? A. Strengthen U.S. trade relations with Britain and France. B. Maintain U.S. neutral rights without going to war. C. Seek an alliance with either Britain or France. D. Explore various means for acquiring Canada. Or E. Provide aid to independence movements in Latin America. The correct answer is maintain U.S. neutral rights without going to war. This stemmed from Washington's farewell address to maintain neutrality, but Jefferson and Madison went to foreign affairs, so maintain U.S. neutral rights without going to war. That was the main foreign policy goal of both Jefferson and Madison. Number 14. John Marshall's Supreme Court decision in the case of Marbury versus Madison established A. A means for instilling federal judges in office. B. Rules for impeachment trials. C. The principle of judicial review. D. The federal government's authority over the states. Or E. A procedure for reviewing treaties. The correct answer is C. The principle of judicial review. If you know nothing about this case, Marbury versus Madison, just know that the answer is C, judicial review. Number 15. Native Americans in the West allied themselves with the British in the War of 1812 because they A. wanted to stop American settlers from taking their land, B. were persuaded to do so by Aaron Burr, C. had ambitions to establish a Indian Confederacy, D. had always been friendly with the British, or E. had signed a binding treaty with Britain during the American Revolution. So, the Native Americans sided with the British because they didn't want American settlers to keep encroaching on their land west of the Appalachian Mountains. Number 16, Thomas Jefferson's chief reason for purchasing Louisiana was A. Challenge Hamilton's loose interpretation of the Constitution, B. Challenge Napoleon's bid for world empire, C. Give the United States control of the Mississippi River, D. Provide a rationale for the Lewis and Clark expedition, or E. Strengthen the Republican Party in the Trans-Mississippi West. So what was the main goal of Thomas Jefferson? It equates to trade, right? And a major trade route was the Mississippi River. So his reasoning for purchasing Louisiana was to give the United States access to the Mississippi River. Number 17, all of the following contributed to the U.S. decision to go to war in 1812, except A. The election of war hawks to Congress in 1810, B. A desire to acquire parts of Canada, C. British impressment of American seamen, D. Efforts to protect the land of Native Americans, or E. American sympathy with France against Britain. So, this goes back to 2 questions ago. They did not go to war to protect the lands of Native Americans. In fact, they did the opposite. Number 18, which of the following documents or sources would be most useful for analyzing the effects of the embargo of 1807 on the U.S. economy? A. Jefferson's instructions to Lewis and Clark, B. Resolutions of the Hartford Convention, C. Records of shipbuilding activity in a New England state from 1805 to 1810, D. Financial accounts of Georgia plantations from 1805 to 1807, E. Speeches of Henry Clay, 1810 through 1812. So again, this question is saying all of these are useful for analyzing these effects, but which is most useful? And the answer is C. Number 19, the War of 1812 had all of the following consequences in the United States except A. Acquisition of new land, B. Native Americans' loss of Britain as an ally, C. The demise of the Federalist Party, D. An increase in U.S. manufacturing, or E. An increase of American nationalism. The answer is acquisition of new land. America did not get any new land from the War of 1812. Last question. The Hartford Convention had long-term significance because it A. Encouraged Britain to sign the Treaty of Ghent, B. Presented major challenge to Madison's domestic policies, C. Forced repeal of the Embargo Act of 1807, D. Marked the end of the Federalists as a national party, or E. Organized national opposition to the War of 1812. The correct answer is D. This marked the end of the Federalists as a national party. Alright guys, that's a wrap for review lesson 3. There is 30 questions on tomorrow's lesson, so be prepared for that. A little longer video. That's all. We'll get through it together. See you guys tomorrow.